Hi there. Welcome to another Tuesdays with Teresa. I am Teresa Paul. I'm a Senior Executive Unit Leader with AVON. I've also been a top seller over the years, selling at McConnell Club and President's Council, which means I've sold anywhere from $85,000 to $112,000 a year. I did that for, I want to say, almost about 10 years. So I do know how to make money in this business with sales as well as with leadership. So that's got to do with this call tonight. Oh, sorry, not a call, a video. But my disclaimer, first of all, my notes. I have my notes, and this video is probably going to make you crazy because I'll be looking at these notes probably more than I will be looking at you because there's so much that I want to go over, and I don't want to miss anything. So many of you have heard me talk about my 4-year plan with AVON, with quitting the job, which I actually did in 2 years instead of 4. And I've been asked quite a few times to share this, this plan with you. And I don't really have a formal plan. I don't have a spreadsheet. I don't have anything written out that you can look at it and plug your information into and make it work for you. Because yours is going to be different than mine. Your needs are different than mine. Your business is different than mine. Your area is different than mine. Your time is different than mine. Your family is different than mine. So what worked for me isn't necessarily going to work for you, but I can teach you how to figure out what will work for you and how to make this plan so that hopefully you will either be able to quit the part-time job, the full-time job, or earn the money that you were looking to earn with this business. So we're going to help you kind of to set up your own successful business plan. So do you have a pencil and paper handy? And grab a calculator too, okay? Because we're going to do a little math. Does math scare you? It's really only numbers. They don't bite. Well, not hard. My math brain doesn't turn off. It's just numbers, just run through it. Like you get the Barney song stuck in your head. I get numbers stuck in my head. I wake up in the middle of the night with numbers going through my head, with plans like, what do I need? How much more do I need? When I was trying to make Senior Executive Unit Leader, the numbers were going through my head. What did I need to do with my team? How many more did I need here? How many more did I need there? Where do I need to, like what? My brain just keeps doing this. My husband's talking about retiring. We're trying to set up the plan and everything for that. And I need to look at the numbers. Everything just keeps going there. Sometimes it makes me crazy, and I'm going to try to take this a little bit slow so that you can follow where I'm going with this, because sometimes the numbers just flow and I start babbling numbers and I know what I'm talking about and you're like, Teresa, slow down. We're still back here on the first part. So I'm going to try and, really, the dog's going to start barking? Well, hopefully he settles. We all started this business for a reason, okay? Why did you start this business? What was it you were looking for? I want you to write this down on the top of the paper. I hope you have, like I said, a pencil, a notepad, a binder, something to write all this down. Because we're not doing it on a spreadsheet. We're not doing it on the computer. We're just doing it the old-fashioned way with a pencil and paper. So write down, what was it that you wanted from this business? You know, why are you doing this? Is it just to make some extra cash? If it's extra cash, how much extra cash? Not just I need to make extra money. How much money do you want? Is $50 every 2 weeks enough for you? You want $300 every 2 weeks? You want $1,000? Kind of, you know, if you're just saying I need extra cash, you need to decide how much extra cash you need, what's going to be acceptable to your business and to your family or to your life or whatever it is that you want. Are you trying to save for a vacation? If you're trying to save for a vacation, don't just write, I'm saving for a vacation. Where are you going? What's your plan? You want to go on a cruise, you want to go to Hawaii, you want to take the family to Alaska. Don't just say, oh, I'm doing this because I want to go on a vacation. Where do you want to go? How much is that vacation going to cost you? When are you going to take this vacation? Is it this summer, next summer, 3 years? So that's all part of this plan, this whole big thing, like what we're doing here. Is it just to pay the phone bill? Are you saving to buy a car? Are you trying to replace the income from a job that you lost? Or from a job that you want to quit? Are you trying to make extra money so that you don't have a job, so you don't have to go get a job or go get another part-time job or whatever? So what exactly is it that you're trying to do here? Are you trying to put away some money into a retirement account so that when you're ready to quit your job, you have some money set aside? Because sometimes, you know, that little Social Security check's not going to be enough, or you might have a pension, but you're thinking that's not going to be enough. So sometimes we need to put aside extra money too. Or is it your big hairy dream? I think that's what Lisa Wilbur calls it, your big hairy dream. Why did you join Avon? What do you want from this? Did you write it down? Did you write it down on top of your paper there? Okay, so let me tell you a little bit. I started 21 years ago. I needed some extra cash. Mr. Paul made great money. He paid the bills. But I had kids going to Catholic school, and there really wasn't a lot of money left over for anything if they wanted to go to Burger King or if they wanted to go bowling or, you know, just extra money. So I didn't really want to go get a job outside the house. You know, it doesn't make sense for Mr. Paul to come home from work and me to go work, you know, a couple nights a week so that we could have some extra spending money. So I just started this Avon thing just for the extra cash that I needed. So that went well. I was selling at President's Club level. But then I realized that I had 2 boys going off to high school, and the tuition for the 3 of them was over $10,000 a year. Plus the uniforms, plus the extra for sports or whatever other things that they did, scouts, and things like that. So, you know, still needed the Burger King money, but the $1.99 kids meal wasn't cutting it. They needed the $5.99 super value meal with the extra large shake and whatever, because now they're 16 and not 6, you know, whatever. So it never occurred to me that I could sell enough Avon to pay that tuition that $10,000 a year. That's how much I was selling in Avon. So I was profiting, you know, $3,000 to $4,000 after my expenses and everything. That was enough for the extra money. But it never occurred to me that I could sell enough Avon to pay the tuition and everything else that I needed. I don't know why, it just didn't. My math brain just didn't tell me that. No, not till a few years later. It just didn't tell me that in the beginning. So, as you guys know my story, I went and got a job in the schools working with the special needs children. So I went to work, the kids went to school, it worked really well, I paid the tuition. But after a couple of years of this, I realized I hated working for somebody else. I didn't like it. I didn't like not being there for the kids. I didn't like when I had to call in sick because somebody was sick and I got, oh, I hope your son feels better tomorrow, which really meant you better have your butt into work tomorrow. I just didn't like that. I didn't like being up and out of the house at 8 a.m. Not that I'm lazy, but just like to have to be on somebody else's schedule and have somebody else telling me what to do. And you know, I just was not my thing. I had been home so many years without a boss, without someone telling me where I had to be and what I had to do. I was stay-at-home mom. I liked doing that. I liked being home with the kids. I liked sitting around in the pajamas in the morning drinking coffee. I liked being, you know, this working for somebody else wasn't cutting it for me. So, in the fall of 2000, I hurt my back, and I was out of work for about a month. I was kind of home, sitting on the couch, wandering around the house, laying around. I couldn't go to work. I could barely move. I had to keep changing positions. I was, you know, taking Percocet and painkillers and physical therapy and everything else. So about that same time, YourAvon.com had launched, and I spent some time on the Avon forums, you know, getting to know other reps from around the country and finding out that there were people doing this full time and that were making money doing this. And what were they doing? Basically the same thing I was doing, only more. So by May of 2002, that was from fall of 2000 to May of 2002, that's when I handed in my resignation. And when I was looking at the dates and stuff on this, I realized that was less than 2 years. I had a 4-year plan that I really did in more like a year and a half. Because by the time I really set my mind to this, like this was what I was going to do, it was probably January or February of 2001. So it was like a year and a half that it really, my 4-year plan was completed. So that's kind of exciting. But I'm going to go over some of this with you. For those of you in leadership that really want to grow your teams, this is going to help with your representatives because you're going to be able to help them with the plan for success too. You're going to be able to help them kind of build a business plan and grow their sales. You know, if you're looking at this going, Teresa, I don't want to sell $100,000. You don't have to, but you can help your team sell that much. So, and for those of you that don't want to do leadership and want to do sales, this is going to help all of us, okay? So my plan was basically this. Get out your pencil and paper and calculator. How much money do I need to bring in each campaign to be able to quit the job? I needed about $500 profit every 2 weeks. I'm talking profit, in order to be able to do what I needed to do. So how much money do you need profit every 2 weeks for whatever your dream is, whatever your reason is, whatever you wrote on the top of that paper? How much money do you need every 2 weeks to achieve that? That's what you need to figure out. So if you're saying, I want to go on vacation and that vacation is going to cost me $5,000 and that's in 6 months, or okay, 5,000 is kind of steep, but say 3,000, whatever. And that's in 6 months. How much money do I need to make each month? How much money do I need to make each campaign? So you got to break that down. So write it down. How much money do you need to make every 2 weeks? How much do I have to sell each campaign to make that profit? So if I needed $500, I figured about $1,500 at 50%, but a lot of the items were 25%. There were supplies, business tools, bags, brochures, samples, everything else that you need to go along with it. So I bumped that to $2,000. I said, if I can sell $2,000 a campaign, then I'll be sure to profit about $500. You know, I needed to kind of make a little bit more than that because I was going to have these kids heading off to college soon too. But that was my goal to start to be able to quit the job. So now your numbers are going to be different than mine. So if you need to earn $300 every 2 weeks, you might need to sell $800 or $900, or $1,000. You know, that's at 40 to 50% earnings. But again, you have fixed earnings items, you have supplies, you have business tools, you have, you know, whatever else, other expenses that are in there. So I always overshoot for goals. And if you saw my video talking about the incentives and everything, always overshoot. Whatever your goal is, overshoot. If you need 10 representatives, go for 20. If you need $100, shoot for 200. Because if you just kind of shoot for your goal, you're going to fall short of it. If you shoot over that, if you fall short, you still made your goal. Okay. Back to that's why I need notes to keep me focused, to keep me going where I need to go. So now I need to sell $2,000 a campaign. I write it down. This is what I need to sell $2,000 a campaign. So you're going to figure out how much you need to sell a campaign. Write it down. Next, I need to know how many customers am I going to have to sell to in order to make that much in sales. So I had to figure out what was my average order size per customer. And Avon says the average order size is $20 to $25 per customer. Mine was a little bit more. So what's yours? So now you have to figure this out. So you got to get your customer orders. How much do you sell to your customers every campaign? Not your total order, not how much are you buying for yourself or your samples or your demos or your bags or anything else. Just the customer orders. How much did the customers order from you? Divide that by how many customers you had. That's your average customer order size. Now you're going to have to do that for a few campaigns to kind of get an even idea, because some campaigns are higher than others depending on if it's the holidays or if it's bug guard season or if it's a, you know, just to get a good average, you know, take a few campaigns and figure that out. Look at my Avon coffee mug as I spill it. Sorry. This is a lot for me. This is not just babbling. I'm trying to stay focused here too. So now you have your average customer order size. How many customers are you going to need to sell to get to your goal? So my goal was $2,000 in sales, and with a $25 average order, I needed to sell to 80 or so customers every campaign. Okay, so write that down. You need 80 customers every campaign. Now, mind you, I didn't have all those 80 customers that I was selling directly to because I did have some sub-sellers. And that was figuring in the overshoot too. I didn't mention that before, but some of my sub-sellers got, 10% of whatever orders they brought me, or 20%, or sometimes it was just a discount off their own orders. So that was why I kind of overshot the goals too, to compensate for what I was giving to some of my sub-sellers. So I had to sell 80 customers, but maybe 10 of those were to sub-sellers, or 20 of them might have been to sub-sellers, because I did have a couple good helpers back then. So I needed 80 or so customers a campaign. So write that down, how many customers you need to sell to every campaign. So now you know your total that you need to earn. You have the total that you need to sell to earn that much money. You have your average customer order, and you have how many customers you're going to need to sell to get the sales that you need to make that profit. Did I lose you yet? This is the cool thing about the video. You can stop and rewind it and start again. So I couldn't do this and write it all down for you because again, my numbers are going to be different than yours, but hopefully you can follow this and figure out your plan here. So I don't really remember how many customers I had at the time. I don't have my notes anymore from that. I probably should have kept them. That was kind of huge. I probably should have kept all that, but I didn't. But say I had 60 to 80 customers and 20 of them were buying every campaign at $25. So I was selling about $500 a campaign. Did you write all of that down too, so you know where you stand right now? What are your sales right now each campaign? How many customers do you have in your customer list that you're giving brochures to or that you're servicing? How many orders do you get from those customers? So if I had 80 customers and I was getting 20 orders, I was getting about 25% activity from my customers. So that's going to help you figure that out too. How many customers are you going to need to get that many orders? So I needed 80 or so orders each campaign. And if I was getting 20 orders out of 60 to 80 customers, I was going to pretty much need to quadruple how many customers I was servicing. So I needed over 320 more customers so that I could have 80 buying $25 worth of products each campaign to get the $2,000 in sales that I needed. If I had 80 customers and I was getting 20 orders, I was going to need 320 customers to get 80 orders. Sounds about right? So now what? Well, the other thing besides finding more customers is also increasing the amount that your customers are spending. Before I move a little bit more into this, we're going to try and get our customers to spend more. Not just saying, oh, they're only spending $20, so now I need that many customers. If you could get your customers spending $30, $40 more often, how are you going to do that? Well, I have a sales increase document that some of you have seen. I put it in the new representative packets, and it talks about how to build the sales and how to increase your average order size. It's in the file section on the Tuesdays with Teresa website, Facebook group. So you can find that sales increase document there. And it goes into, that's a whole nother call really, but it goes into how to build your sales and to get your customers ordering more and to build, so that if you have customers average ordering $40 a campaign, you really need to service fewer customers than if your customers are spending $20 to $25 a campaign, right? So it's building sales, building order totals as much as it is building your customer base too. Did I lose you guys yet? Trying to stay focused. So now what? I need to find 240 more customers. And my goal was 3 new customers a campaign. So at 26 campaigns a year, that was 78 new customers a year I needed. My goal, 3 new customers a campaign. I figured I could do that. That's a reasonable amount. I wasn't saying, oh, I need 10 new customers a campaign. I just said 3 new customers. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself. I have kids, we have scouts, we have other things that we did too. It wasn't just about Avon. I was going to work. They had basketball. They played, you know, all of them on different teams. So who had to go what night where, and, you know, a lot of stuff going on with the family. So it wasn't just about, oh, like I'm spending all this time with Avon. I needed to tie all that in. So I just said 3 new customers a campaign. If I knew that if I was getting 3 new customers a campaign, my business was growing. Even if these customers don't all order every campaign, I knew my business was growing. And as long as I kept seeing my numbers go up and up and up, I knew I was going in the right direction to get where I needed to be. And that's why I said 4 years, because that's kind of, you know, a realistic goal. So now how am I going to find out, how am I going to get these customers? How am I going to find all these customers? So how is all of this going to play out? So I wrote it all down again. I'm writing all this down. I'm looking at everything. This is what I need to do. This is where I need to be. I did not want to be working at that job anymore. How am I going to find these customers? I did it the only way I knew how. I did it the same way that I found all the customers I had to begin with. I was selling at President's Club level. I found those customers by knocking on doors. Hi, I'm Teresa. I'm with Avon. I noticed nobody brings an Avon brochure in the neighborhood. Can I give you a book? And I did my neighborhood, and I did the next neighborhood, and I did the next neighborhood. And so I was selling at President's Club level. That was good enough for me. It didn't occur to me to keep doing that so that I didn't have to go find a job to begin with. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. Nothing in my brain said, hey, honey, you can sell $400 a campaign, $500 a campaign. You can sell $1,000 a campaign. You can sell... Those numbers just seem... I guess because... Maybe it did, and maybe I'm like, God, there's no way I can sell $2,000 a campaign. You know, it just didn't, maybe in my brain it said, oh, that's too unrealistic. Go get a job, do what everybody else does. Go, you know, get that paycheck. I really don't know why. Nobody said, hey, maybe because nobody said, Teresa, look at these other people doing this. You can do it too. I still don't know why I didn't. So I set out every weekend. I was going door to door. Just for an hour or so. I took the 20 or 30, 40 extra brochures that I could afford, and I knocked on doors, and I talked to people, and I got names and numbers, and I did follow-ups. And the next weekend, I went out and I knocked on doors, and I got names and numbers, and I did follow-ups. And I had the kids help me, and the boys went with me for an hour or so, and I told them, you know, every new customer that we find, you get 10% of that order. So if somebody, you know, we got 3 new customers with $75 in orders, that was $7.50 the kid got for helping me. So, it doesn't seem like a lot of money, but when you're, how old was he? We're going back 10, he was 10 years old, so 8 years old, so that's, you know, $7.50, $10, that's money. Over a couple weeks, you put it in the bank, you go shopping at the toy store. So, the boys did help me. And again, I also was still recovering with the back thing, so it was a little rough. I couldn't do, you know, hours and hours and hours of this. I could do a little bit. So, my goal was just getting these 3 new customers every campaign by doing this. And then again, taking the kids to basketball. I was giving the books to the moms. I was being more assertive, I guess you want to say, more aggressive with talking to people that I was seeing every day. You know, when I was going to ShopRite, when I was, you know, going to the pediatrician, whatever I was doing, I was more actively giving out the brochures and looking for new customers that way as well. So I was actually getting 5 or 6 new customers a campaign instead of the 3 that I had originally set out to get. And I got more helpers, and I got more sub-sellers, and I picked up a few businesses. So I knocked on every door in this little town, and then I started knocking on every door in the next town, because while the kids were at religion class on Saturday morning, I was taking I dropped them off at religion, went down to the condo development, and started putting books out on the doors there, or knocking on the doors there, and talking to the people there too. Now remember, I didn't have a lot of money. I wasn't buying hundreds of books and tossing back then. I wanted to make sure I got those books into the hands of people that wanted Avon. So I was really structured about doing this. And there's several reasons why this going door to door in the neighborhoods and stuff works really well, or worked really well for me, instead of just saying, oh, let me put 10 books here, 10 books there, put them at the deli, put them at the laundromat. because I was kind of limited on time. Remember, I was working and I had the kids and we were doing this and that. But if I had all my customers in this area, it made it very easy for me to deliver to my customers. If I had customers here and there and all over the place, it was harder for me to get their orders to them. And back then, we didn't have YourAvon.com and everyone wasn't shopping on the websites. That was all new. That was all new. It wasn't like it is now. So I needed my customers to be where I was going to be. And if I was delivering 5 customers here, you know, it was just much easier. Now, if I got new customers from some of the stuff that I was doing, you know, the basketball parents, or when I was leaving the books at the ShopRite or the businesses and stuff, if I did get new customers in a different area, I would go prospect that area too. I would start knocking on the doors in that area because I figured if I got 1 customer there, I might as well have 5. So then if I had to deliver over there, I was delivering to more than just 1 person. So I started working those areas as well too. So that's why sometimes doing this just time-wise for your deliveries and keeping everything organized kind of works a little bit better. And then and why this kind of works a little bit better too than tossing. I know tossing works in some areas better than in others. And I've had success tossing. Just the past few months, I've picked up, I don't know, 8, 10 new customers tossing. But the thing with that is, I don't know how many people got a book and said, oh, that's cool, Avon, I don't really need anything right now. But I never took them another book because I never got a call from them. So by knocking on the doors and talking to people, people might tell you, oh, I love Avon, but I don't really need anything right now, but you can keep giving me future brochures. So, you know, and again, when you only have a certain number of brochures to give out, you want to make sure that you give the books to people that want them. So it's okay when somebody tells me no, I still have that book to give to somebody that says yes. So that's kind of why I like the knocking and the talking. So, who just came in the house? Oh, give me a minute. I'm in the middle of a video, but I'll be up to see you soon. Don't go away. Oh my God, sorry. My son just came in and I'm not editing this out, but I really want to talk to him. So anyway, so I was working and working and working. And I know this is hard when you're working and you got the kids and everything else, but do this consistently and your business is going to grow. And if you tie it in with building your downline, you're going to be increasing your earnings with all that as well. And I didn't start leadership until I actually quit the job because I just couldn't. There was just so much going on. We had also, we had the Cub Scout pack and the Boy Scouts. My husband was the Scout Master, the Cub Master, and he was Assistant Scout Master. And I was the committee chair for the Cub Scout pack with over 100 kids and for the Boy Scout troop as well. So we were involved in a lot of that too. I just couldn't add the leadership thing too. But I knew as soon as I quit the job, I was going to start building my team, which I did. And I kind of wish I hadn't waited to do that, but the sales for me was the right now money. And I knew that I could control that. And the leadership is the future money. And back then we didn't get the $35 per recruit like you get now. So now is a good time to do both because for each new recruit you get, you know, besides the first product bundle you get the $35, the Get Fit, the Fast Track. There's so much more now that you can get when you're starting your team than we did back then. You can earn, you know, my point is right now, if you're doing both, you can earn both ways a lot more than you could way back then when I was starting the leadership. So again, increasing. And so this is kind of funny. The first time I ever, I kept increasing my brochures as I was building. The more brochures I could buy and hand out, the more customers I was going to be able to find. So as my sales grew, I bought more brochures. And the first time I ordered 150 brochures, I was so excited. Oh my God, I'm buying 150 brochures. And I keyed in 150 and I come home from work. There was this pile of books by my garage. It was this stack. 15, I don't know how many, 15, 20 cases of books stacked there. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do with all these books? So yeah, I got my 1,500 brochures instead of 150. So I called the manager. We just had a new manager that just started. She was only with us for a couple months. And I called her up and I can't afford all these. You got to come get them. She comes to the house to pick them up. She's laughing at me. Like, what are you, stupid? I'm like, yeah. So I did feel really stupid. I'm like, I was embarrassed. She said, I can't take all these. They're not going to fit in my car. I'll take some. You keep some. I said, I'm just going to burn them. She said, well, you can't burn them. It's like burning Doritos. They just curl up. They don't really burn. So she left me the books. She told me label them, write, put your name on them, put flyers on them, whatever, and we're going to go hand them out. She said, I'll help you. So I said, okay. So we did. And my son helped too. When we put all those books out, and I got a lot of new customers from those. And I realized you got to put a bunch of books out there and build if you want to build fast. So I started buying more books and putting more books out. And this business really was growing. I don't even remember how many new customers I got from that, but I'm like, this is working. So get your books out there. Find out, old books too, old books. If you can get old brochures from a manager or reps in your district or your upline or anybody, ask, see if they can get them for you. Ask your manager, can you get old brochures for me? I really want to canvas. I really want to work the business. I really, really want to grow my sales. I had reps that were bringing them to the sales meeting and giving them to me and saying, oh, I wish I had a business like you. You just gave me a box of books that had your labels on them that you never put out. So, I just kept growing the business. And then I also started doing fundraising. Last year that I was working was when I started doing the fundraising. And that bumped my sales. And I got new customers from that as well. So what I did might not work for you or might not fit into your schedule. But it worked for me. And there's other ways to do this. Miss Molly Stone Bibb, she's going to tell you she was working 3 jobs and had the kids and everything else. And she had no time to go door to door. But what she did have time to do was to go toss in the middle of the night. So that's how she built her business that she needed to do. So whatever you're going to do, it might take a little trial and error to get your groove on. But this can be done. And and then back then, like I said, YourAvon.com had just launched, so there was no big online selling. There wasn't Facebook, there wasn't Twitter, there was some Yahoo groups and MSN groups, and not a lot of selling going on there. And we couldn't recruit that way because we had to do appointments face to face, so we weren't recruiting people all over the country like that. So, whatever your reason is for doing this business, whatever your why is, and it may have changed from the time you started. Mine did. My family grew and life changed, and so did my reasons. But write it down and start making your plan. Lisa Scola started for something to do, and she loved the products, and she's going to tell you how she made President's Club by being her best customer. But when her life changed and she needed the money and she really grew the business, this was what she did, and this is what worked for her. So no matter what your goal is, or why you're doing this, or if you're saving for the refrigerator, the kids needs braces, or you want to go on that cruise, just be sure to put some or all of your earnings aside. Whatever you're doing, if you earn $50, put that aside. Put it in a separate account. Put it in a jar. Put it under your mattress. Put it somewhere. But if you look, I only earned $20 this campaign, and you go shopping instead, you're not saving for whatever it is you wanted to save for. So, make sure that you put that aside, even if it doesn't seem like much. $20 here, $10 there, $50 here. You got a really good campaign, $100. It starts to add up, and you're seeing progress, and you're seeing that it's working. But if you keep spending it, or just like, oh, maybe next campaign or whatever, you're not going to see progress. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to give up. And sometimes it might not be growing as fast as you want it to be, or maybe it's going to grow way faster than you expected, like it did for me. So, and I have that document about increasing your sales. That's on the Tuesdays with Teresa group. It's got the tips and tricks. So all of this might have seemed like it was about sales, but it wasn't. It was about being able to help your team too, if you're a leader, about helping your team grow their sales. So, and you're going to be recruiting kind of the same way, being out there, talking to people, knocking on doors, doing events, whatever it is that works for you, whatever you have time to do, however you can do it, you have to make a commitment to yourself and to your business, okay? You have to make that commitment. I'm not going into a whole lot with the fast track and the Get Fit, but there's a lot of money right there. There's a lot of money. So if you need that money and you want to do this, not just the sales, work them both. Work them both, because it can be there. Like I said, back then, all I had a chance to earn when I started leadership was a $100 Fast Start bonus. And I placed an ad in the newspaper, and I said, I'll get that $100 bonus, and that'll pay for the ad, and everything will be good. I didn't get the $100 bonus. One of the girls didn't pay for her orders. So that was not discouraging to me, though. I said, well, I guess I need to work a little bit harder. I need to find a few more people, because this ain't working with this couple that I have. My $10 first leadership check, I was like, well, if I can get $10, I can get 20. So when I started earning $20 leadership checks, I said, well, if I can get 20, I want 50. I started earning $50 checks. I said, if I can get 50, I can get 100. So it took me 2 years to get to AUL, which I was okay with that. I was still growing my sales and building all that part of the business because I needed that now money and knowing that the leadership was going to be my future money. So again, because I wasn't getting the $35 each recruit. If I was getting $35 a recruit, I probably would have been more focused on building the team and getting those recruits and building it faster. So it was different for me back then. You guys have a lot more now than we did then. What else? So I do make great money now, and I need and want more. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? You know, my husband's going to retire soon, and we want to be able to travel and do some fun stuff. So this is really going to help us to do what we want to be able to do. And I'm still, you know, finishing paying off those college loans that I did for the kids. They're all grown up now. But, you know, I don't know what I want to do, but I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck because we did that for a while too. A long while. It was paycheck to paycheck. And that was my choice. You know, I wanted the kids in Catholic school. I could have taken the kids out of Catholic school. We could have had money to spend. I wouldn't have had to get a job. But that was my choice and my sacrifice for my family and my kids. And I think that was a good decision. Everybody's happy and healthy. So I love this business. I love working for myself. I love helping others be successful too. I love the unlimited earnings. And I never want to work for anybody else again. Ever. Never, ever, ever. Ever. Not if I can help it. I like doing what I do. I just love this. So I hope that this was some help to you guys. I hope that you wrote things down. I hope that you have an idea of how to make a plan, what you want, where you want to be, and set a time for it. It might be a year, it might be 2 years, it might be 5 years, whatever it is. And just, you're going to change it as you go. It's going to be slower, it's going to be faster, you're going to have to revise it. But keep it there. Put it on the refrigerator. Put it by your bed where you see it when you wake up. Put it in front of the TV so you see that when you turn the TV on. I don't know. Just stay focused. Okay? So I hope this is going to help you guys. I will see you in 2 weeks. Love you guys. Bye.